Hello and a very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha with all the election stories in a special bulletin, India Votes. Let's begin with the headlines. Campaigning picks up for the 3 remaining phases of Lok Sabha polls. Political heavyweights address rallies across the country. Repolling held in 3 parliamentary constituencies of Orissa after allegations of rigging by BJD workers. Congress's updated manifesto promising 4.5% quota for Muslims and OBC status for all Dalit minorities creates row. Parties oppose new move. And BJP leader Giriraj Singh granted anticipatory bail in Patna over his alleged hate speech, which led to his ban by Election Commission. And tracking the top story, after the 6th phase of Lok Sabha elections, parties have now intensified campaign for the remaining 3 phases. Star campaigners of both the Congress and the BJP toured different parts of the country, addressing multiple rallies and roadshows. Take a look. Campaigning for the 7th phase of Lok Sabha elections has picked up. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi launched his campaign trail in Telangana, addressing rallies in Hyderabad and Warangal.
नया प्रदेश बना है तो मैं आपको एक सुझाव देना चाहता हूं.
మిత్రులారా ప్రత్యేక తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం ఆవిర్భవిస్తా ఉంది. ఈ దశలో మీ వాడిగా మీ అందరి వాడిగా.
His sister Priyanka hit the roads in Raebareli once again, campaigning for mother Sonia Gandhi. In her address, Priyanka sharpened her attack on BJP's PM nominee Narendra Modi.
जनता सब समझती है, आपके गुजरात का मॉडल भी समझती है, जिसमें आपने कौड़ियों के दाम पे हजारों एकड़ जमीन अपने दोस्तों को दी. आपकी स्वच्छ राजनीति भी समझती है, जिसके मिसाल कल आपके बगल में खड़े हुए उस जनता को हाथ मिला रहे थे.
Meanwhile, Narendra Modi had a packed Friday, addressing back-to-back rallies in Punjab. Polling in this state will be held in the next phase on 30th of April. Beginning his tour from Pathankot, Modi's campaign covered Gurdaspur, Bhatinda, Ludhiana and Amritsar.
बस साफ देख रहा हूं, इस चुनाव में कई राज्य ऐसे होंगे जहां कांग्रेस पार्टी और यूपीए अपना खाता तक नहीं खोल पाएगी. मेरे शब्द लिख के रखिए दोस्तों, हिंदुस्तान में कई राज्य होंगे जहां कांग्रेस और उसके साथी अपना खाता नहीं खोल पाएंगे. और हिंदुस्तान में एक भी राज्य ऐसा नहीं होगा जहां कांग्रेस पार्टी 10 के आंकड़े को छू पाए.
The Amritsar seat faces a high-profile contest between former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh and senior BJP leader Arun Jaitley, who is contesting the Lok Sabha polls for the first time. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And a good part of the Lok Sabha elections is over. Out of the total 543 seats, 349 have already been polled. There has been a surge in turnout numbers at the previous elections. Here is a comparative study of turnout in 2009 and this year and its possible implications.
In Bihar, the election has been completely free of any incident, and the turnout for this phase is 60%.
Total percentage poll is 82% in West Bengal.
Turnout in Assam is 77.05%.
The voter turnout in Rajasthan is 59.2%.
Jharkhand में 63.4%.
The 6th phase of polling on Thursday saw high turnout in most places. Though West Bengal leads the race with 82% turnout, the numbers for the 6 seats went down marginally. Tamil Nadu saw a marginal drop. But all the other states with 72 seats at stake saw an average rise of more than 7% in voter turnout.
349 PCs have gone to election so far. In this, aggregate turnout is 66% as compared to 57.53% for the same PCs in last Lok Sabha election 2009.
In the 4 metros that have gone to polls so far, the encouraging turnout in Mumbai is a major highlight. The city saw more than 50% people voting, its highest since 1991. The high turnout has raised speculation that it is a possible indication of anti-incumbency. In most of the states which went to polls, Congress is facing anti-incumbency. Out of the 117 seats, Congress holds the maximum number of seats, followed by BJP. For instance, 5 out of the 6 seats that went to polls in West Bengal are considered to be strong bastion of Congress. Congress candidates like Deepa Das Munshi and President Pranab Mukherjee's son Abhijit are some of the key names in fray in the 6 seats. The April 17th polls in the hills also saw a marginal rise of 2% in voter turnout in West Bengal. Of the 4 seats that went to polls in 5th phase, 3 are considered to be strongholds of the left front. In Tamil Nadu, where all eyes are on the tussle between DMK and AIADMK, the turnout was impressive at over 70%. It remains to be seen what this trend of high turnout spells for the political parties. All eyes will be on May 16th for the final outcome. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for more details of this, I'm joined by our correspondents Shyam Sundar from Kolkata and Rajkamal Rao from Chennai. Shyam, coming to you first. West Bengal has seen an 82% turnout in 6 seats, and mostly it's said that a high turnout means a vote for change. What impact do you see on the ground? Shyam, can you hear me? Okay, Raj.
Well, Tina, as far as height is concerned, it's not very unusual. I can hear you, Tina. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Shyam, continue. We can hear you, Shyam. Continue.
Yeah, as far as high turnout is concerned, it's not very unusual in West Bengal. From 96 onwards, we have seen that at times in certain constituencies there are 87-90% polling. And in first 2 phases, in which areas polling has taken place are strongholds of Congress mainly. 10 seats have gone to poll, and out of 10, 6 are with Congress and 4 were with the left parties in last elections. So, and I met left leaders here and the Trinamool leaders here. They are not really worried about the high polling turnout. Generally, this is the impression that high turnout goes against the ruling party. But as far as West Bengal is concerned, that kind of anti-incumbency is not seen in West Bengal against Trinamool Congress in these elections.
Right, Shyam. Also, what the national media has been reporting, that the BJP this time is making inroads in West Bengal, and with Narendra Modi addressing several rallies in the state. What is your take on the ground? Do you see voters bending towards the BJP?
Well, urban areas, when you talk to young voters, definitely there is good news for BJP that people are talking about them in these elections. They are serious players in these elections. Even left leaders and Trinamool Congress leaders, they accept that BJP will increase their vote share in these elections, but they say that it has to be seen whether they will be able to win some seats, and that is BJP's strategy. Their Prime Minister candidate Narendra Modi will address few rallies in West Bengal, but in selected constituencies. But yes, Trinamool Congress or left parties, every party accepts the fact that BJP will increase their vote, its vote share in these elections, but how many seats they can get in West Bengal, it has to be seen.
Thank you, Shyam, for joining us. And also, with TMC going alone this time in West Bengal, we could see a lot of surprise in West Bengal. So now going across to Raj, the same question to you, Raj. Tamil Nadu also has seen a very high turnout. How do you read this? Do you see this as a vote for change in Tamil Nadu as well?
Tina, technically, even in 2009 Lok Sabha elections, the Tamil Nadu had registered 72.9 voting percentage. This time around, the 73% is a marginal increase if you compare it with the 2009 Lok Sabha elections that were held in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
But this time, the complete political scenario is changed. A Congress party which was allying with either DMK or AIDMK is contesting on its own, and DMK and AIDMK, which are the traditional Tamil Nadu parties, are giving tough fight to each other. And with the third front like BJP's alliance in Tamil Nadu, people have high aspirations and high expectations from these four cornered contests. So they came out in huge numbers, and the voting number of young voters percentage are also increased. But technically, in fact, the technical number of votes hasn't increased in Tamil Nadu. But because of the tough fight between DMK and AIDMK, people came out in large numbers. Right. So can we say that this was anti-incumbency or pro-incumbency? Because of the technical terminology of voter percentage, we cannot say that whether it is anti-incumbency against Jayalalitha, because there is no huge change in the voter turnout. Some would say the steady flow of voting percentage may favor the government.
Thank you, Raj, for joining us and giving us those details. A re-polling was held today in 9 polling booths spread over 3 parliamentary constituencies in Orissa. Polling in these 9 booths was held on the 17th of April, but the Election Commission had ordered re-polling after allegations of massive rigging and other irregularities. Congress and BJP nominees had alleged that ruling BJD workers had vandalized the booths, damaging the EVMs after an attempt to rig the polls. The poll panel made special security arrangements in these polling booths for re-polls. The poll panel also appointed micro-observers in these areas for free and fair poll. The 6th phase of polls saw some major incidents of violence in some places. This comes despite tight security cover to ensure peaceful polling. In a suspected Maoist attack last evening in Jharkhand, 8 people were killed, including 3 poll officials. An election officer was also killed in Jammu and Kashmir in a militant attack. In Uttar Pradesh, cops used bait and charge on BJP supporters protesting against alleged booth capturing. Here's a report.
After 5 phases of peaceful polling, the Lok Sabha elections saw the Maoist violent phase of polling on Thursday, with at least 4 poll officials and 5 security personnel were killed in separate incidents. In Jharkhand's Dumka district, suspected Maoists targeted a vehicle carrying security personnel and poll officials on Thursday evening. A landmine was triggered when the officials were returning from polling duty in the area. The injured people were shifted to a nearby hospital. Jharkhand police is likely to launch a joint operation with Bengal police to nab the suspected Maoists behind the blast. In UP, police resorted to bait and charge to disperse BJP supporters. They were protesting against alleged booth capturing by Samajwadi Party workers in Firozabad. Vehicles were set on fire during the protests.
जैसे ही मतदान शुरू हुआ, समाजवादी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने और गुंडों ने और नेताओं ने बूथ कैप्चर शुरू कर दिए।
यहाँ 144 धारा लगी हुई थी और काफ़ी 800-1000 की भीड़ यहाँ इकट्ठी हो गई थी और काफ़ी डीएम और एसपी के द्वारा प्रयास किया जा रहा था और उसके बाद लाठीचार्ज हुआ और भीड़ यहाँ से भाग गई।
In Jammu and Kashmir, the otherwise peaceful polling process was marred by an incident of militant attack. 1 election officer was killed and 5 others were injured. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time now for a very short break. Election stories continue on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching India Votes. Now, midway through the Lok Sabha polls, Congress has launched an aggressive minority outreach. The party has committed itself to find a way forward on quotas for backward Muslims and scheduled caste status to all Dalit minorities. The move has been criticized by some of the opposition parties. Here's a report.
In its additional manifesto on empowerment of minorities, Congress has said it will work towards earmarking a quota of 4.5% for backward Muslims in the existing OBC reservations. Though Congress's main manifesto on 26th of March mentions quotas for backward Muslims, the new document specifically reiterates the 4.5% sub-quota.
In some states in India, this reservation has been made for the backward community within minorities, Andhra Pradesh for example. And the matter is now pending in Supreme Court. So when the matter gets resolved in Supreme Court, then of course, when the Congress comes to power in this 2014 to 19, we will we will look at this issue and take it forward. But the fact of the matter is that the Congress has not come out with any sub-manifesto.
The fresh minority pitch, available on the manifesto link on the Congress website, speaks of extension of Supreme Court status to all Dalit minorities, a demand opposed by many political parties.
देखिए, पहली बात तो ये कि कांग्रेस पार्टी इन पिछले 10 सालों में उसने अल्पसंख्यकों के लिए क्या किया, उसे सबसे पहले तो ये बताना चाहिए। अब जब चुनाव में उनकी विदाई का बैंड बाजा बज गया है, तब उनको याद आ रहा है कि अल्पसंख्यकों के आर्थिक सामाजिक प्रगति के लिए आरक्षण लाना चाहिए। तो आरक्षण की अफीम से मुस्लिम वोटों के अपहरण नहीं कर सकती वो।
नहीं, देखिए, मुस्लिम्स के आरक्षण पर बैठ करके सभी दलों के साथ आम सहमति बनाना चाहिए। जो मंडल कमीशन था श्री वीपी सिंह के नेतृत्व में जो लागू हुआ था, उसमें 80% के आसपास मुस्लिम जो हैं आरक्षण की श्रेणी में आते थे। आरक्षण का प्रस्ताव मुस्लिम समाज की तरफ से आता है तो सबको बैठ के बात करनी चाहिए।
Even some of the imams question Congress's promise, calling it a poll gimmick.
2011 में भी कांग्रेस ने कोटा विद इन कोटा की बात करी थी और आज भी ऐसी ही बात हो रही है। हमारा मानना यह है कि कांग्रेस अगर वाकई मुसलमानों को रिजर्वेशन देना चाहती है तो आर्टिकल 341 में जो रिजर्वेशन से मुसलमानों को बैन किया गया है, वहां पर रिजर्वेशन दिया जाए।
In 2011, the centre had announced a subquota of 4.5% for socially and educationally backward persons belonging to minority communities, but the proposal was stalled due to judicial scrutiny. Halfway down the Lok Sabha polls, this strategy is not without risk for Congress. It could face criticism for appeasing Muslims at the cost of Dalits and backward castes. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A court in Patna has granted anticipatory bail to BJP leader Giriraj Singh, who faces arrest warrant for his alleged hate speech during the election campaign. The court granted him bail in the context of the FIR filed against him. Giriraj's counsel submitted his reply to the show cause notice. The counsel claimed that his assertions were not aimed at any particular caste or community. However, the police has lodged 3 FIRs against him and had raided his house after a non-bailable warrant was issued by a court but could not find him.
उन्होंने एंटीसिपेटरी बिल फाइल किया था। एलिगेशन जो उनके ऊपर लगाया गया था, जो लंदन जज ने कंसीडर करके उनको एंटीसिपेटरी बिल ग्रांट किया। इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ने शो कॉज नोटिस इशू किया था, उसमें 3 ग्राउंड का लिखा था कि आपने ये 1, 2, 3 इसका वायलेशन किया है, लेकिन पुलिस ने जो केस किया वो जस्ट उसके कॉन्ट्रेरी।
The city of Patiala is set to witness some of the glorious chapters of it in the history of India. The general elections this time reveal a unique combination of forces that are in the fray in the city. Our correspondent Deepak Dobhal tells us more about the political climate in this seat ahead of the elections.
Patiala, a name synonymous with royalty, living life king size. The princely state of erstwhile Punjab is today the 5th largest city of the state. The Lok Sabha seat has a lot of prestige value for national parties. The Congress has always preferred to field royalty. This time too, it's no different. Union Minister and current MP Preneet Kaur has won the seat thrice.
मुद्दे जो हैं, जो मुद्दे सेंटर के हैं, वो तो हमारी मैनिफेस्टो कवर कर रही है, पर यहाँ जो मुद्दे ज्यादा चलते हैं वो मुद्दे ये हैं कि लोकल मुद्दे हैं।
The BJP SAD alliance is backing Dipender Singh Dhillon. Dhillon was once closely associated with Preneet Kaur's campaign. He shifted allegiance from the Congress to the BJP in 2012 after he was denied a ticket from Dera Bassi. He contested as an independent before joining the Shiromani Akali Dal.
मैं समझता हूँ कि हमारी इतनी अच्छी कैंपेन चल रही है कि मुझे और लोगों का बहुत समर्थन है, लोगों में बहुत उत्साह है और मुझे पूरा यकीन है कि इस बार हम ये इलेक्शन जीतेंगे।
Adding a third dimension to the traditional rivalry between the SAD and the Congress is the Aam Aadmi Party. Party candidate Dr. Dharamveer Gandhi is a social activist. He has a reputation for facilitating affordable medical facilities for residents in the constituency. Acting against him, however, is his political inexperience.
100% है, 100% है। मुद्दे कुछ केंद्रीय मुद्दे हैं, भ्रष्टाचार का, महंगाई का है और जो हमारे कुदरती संसाधनों की जो लूट हो रही है, जो कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर द्वारा, अंबानी द्वारा।
Patiala seat has over 15,44,000 voters. Over 8,15,000 are men, while women number about 7,28,000. Elections will be held in 1,085 polling stations on the 30th of April. The main problems in this city of royals concerns farmers. Another well-known candidate here is Kamaldeep Kaur. Kamaldeep is the sister of Balwant Singh Rajona, who was sentenced to death in former Punjab Chief Minister Beant Singh's killing. She is contesting as an independent. Deepak Dobhal's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Election Commission held a vintage car rally in Ludhiana as part of its voter awareness campaign. The Election Commission is doing all it can to encourage voters to cast their ballot. Here's more.
With the world's biggest electoral exercise well and truly underway, the Election Commission is doing its best to encourage voters to cast their vote in this election. As part of its awareness program, the poll body organized a vintage car rally in Punjab's Ludhiana district.
मोटिव ये है कि हम सभी को वोट देनी चाहिए। इलेक्शंस के मौके पे हम इसीलिए रैली निकाल रहे हैं। हमारा मोटिव सिर्फ यही है कि सभी जाने घर से आएं और इलेक्शन वाले दिन वोट जरूर देके जाएं, चाहे किसी को भी वोट दें।
Punjab will go to polls on April 30th. Onlookers and participants appreciated the event, calling it a novel way to inspire and motivate voters.
विंटेज कार्स की रैली निकाल के लोगों के ध्यान आकर्षित करना कि उन्होंने मतदान के लिए ज़रूरी जाना है 30 अप्रैल को, और हमें बहुत खुशी है कि प्रशासन भी इनके साथ पूरा सहयोग दे रहा है और इनमें पूरा जोश है लोगों को ये बताने का, स्पेशली युवा को, कि आपको 30 अप्रैल को वोट करना है।
This is not the first time the poll body has organized such an event. This election season, urging voters to exercise their right is a big aim of the Election Commission. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's all we have for you in India Votes. Thanks a lot for watching.